Today we are here to talk about possibly the worst airport in the entire world. And I've been to dozens of airports over the past 3 years, and once again, this is by far the worst airport that I've ever been to. I knew it was going to be bad whenever we were driving up and there's this long line wrapping around the entire building, and I convinced myself, it's probably just a connecting flight, you don't have to worry about that. And we went to check our baggage in, and we were flying business class, so once again, I thought that we wouldn't have to wait in that long line. That's one of the pluses of flying business class. You don't have to wait in long lines, you just go straight up through a separate line. Whenever you go through the check-in, it's way easier. You can go down and go through a special line for that as well, so you don't have to wait to go through the metal detectors and all that other nonsense. So I thought it was going to be awesome. I was wrong. So we got checked in, and then I was like, could you tell us where the business class line is? And they just pointed over there, and I was like, over there meaning that long line? And they're like, yeah, just go through the doors over to the left and walk to the back of the line. You'll get through in like an hour, hour and a half. And I was like, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
To make a long story short, I tried to convince them that I had this really bad stomach problem, that every airport that I ever go to, they let me get through, and I almost had them convinced until some nonsense lady walked up and she killed the whole hope that I had that we'd be able to skip that line.
Here.
Okay, let's go.
So we had to go to the very back of the line, and luckily, instead of having to wait an hour and a half, it was probably like 45 minutes. But as you can see here, the line was ridiculous. It took us forever to get through that line. Now, the reason the airport in Amsterdam is so terrible is specifically because it's like, how can I describe? Imagine you get a bunch of 10-year-old children that have just a little bit of training, and you give them a job at an airport, and it's just like running around with a bunch of children running the entire show.
Who are you?
It's nonsense. Like, this person kind of knows what they're doing, this person kind of knows what they're doing, and if you try to get their help, excuse me, if you try to ask them for directions or any kind of help, they act like you just slapped them in the face. So very rude, customer service is terrible, and then add into that, for our safety, instead of having all like 12 different lines open like they usually do, they've consolidated it down into 3 lines, which obviously makes the entire thing crazy. And I want to add, once again, it's for our safety that instead of just having all these lines, now they've consolidated it into 3 lines. It doesn't really make sense. So if you ever make the mistake of using the airport in Amsterdam, I recommend that instead of just getting there 2 to 3 hours in advance, as I usually do, get in like 6 hours in advance. That way you're not stressed out or anything, because it will take you from the time you check in. Like, let's say you have a check-in baggage or something, which I did because my girl and I were traveling all over Europe, so we had to go through check-in. But if you have to go through the check-in, make sure you get there at least 4 to 6 hours early. What? Because you will have to wait a long line. It's going to be crazy. So just go into it expecting that, and it'll make the entire experience better. If you'd like to watch more videos like this, click right here. Otherwise, make sure to click that subscribe button. That way you can stay on top of all the latest videos. I'll see you in the next episode.